Alright, let's take a look at another rule for taking derivatives called the chain rule. So you know the drill, you're making a tab. You don't have to draw that, but I obviously did. Take care of mom and then baby. And you're going to understand what that is in just a second. Take care of mom and then baby. So number one, take care of the derivative of the outside, which is mom. And then two, multiply by the derivative of the inside, which is the baby. So you take your mom and then baby. Number three, factor and simplify if needed. Alright, this can get quite complicated, so to simplify things, we will let u equals the whole thing, and we'll go from there. This is a listening check. Don't write v equals the inside and. Don't write v equals the inside and. Alright, example 1. So there are two ways we can do it. Either you take care of the mom, so take care of the mom, which would be 5 that 4 times the derivative on the inside, which is 2x plus 4. But I'm going to show you the other way because that also comes in useful when it's confusing. So number one, let u equal whatever the whole thing is. So x squared plus 4x plus 6. So now the problem becomes y equals, and instead of that whole thing, it's now u. So y equals u to the 5th power. Alright, number 2. Take the derivative of the outside. In other words, the derivative of y with respect to u, and this lingo is going to be very important, so I'm going to actually start introducing it. Alright, the derivative of y with respect to u is dy dx. The derivative of y with respect to u, dy dx. So that's 5u to the 4th power. And then, number 3, multiply by the derivative of the inside. This is a listening check. Color in the word multiply next to the number 3. Color in multiply. In other words, the derivative of u with respect to x. And we write that as du dx. The derivative of u with respect to x, du dx. So the respect to is what goes on the bottom. So 2x plus 4. First step, we're going to plug u back in for your final answer. Plug u back in for your final answer. I'm going to show you why this works. I know it's new lingo, so it might be confusing. Dy dx. Taking the derivative of y with respect to x is the same thing as dy du times du dx, because the u's cancel, the du's cancel out. So the reason this works is because the du crosses out, leaving dy dx. So if I can find those individual things, then I can use it to cross out whatever I need to cross out. So like we found out, dy dx equals dy du, so dy d is right there, which is 5, and then u is x squared plus 4x plus 6 raised to the 4th power times du dx. And what's du dx? 2x plus 4. And that's what it is. So now you're going to factor and simplify as needed. What can I take out there? I can take out a 2. So I'm going to factor out a 2. So 2 times 5 is 10, leaving x plus 2. And then this just stays the same. And that's pretty much it. So two ways of doing it. You could do the outside first and then the inside, or you could use the notation. It just depends on the question. Like if I look at this question here, I can't use the notation one. I have to actually just do the outside. And if you haven't noticed already, this is the product rule and the chain rule both in one. So this uses both your knowledge from the product rule and the chain rule. So follow me because it can get a little bit confusing, so please make sure you rewind if you need to. This is a listening check, underline chain rule. Alright, so I can't use this lingo because u isn't the same thing. So I take the derivative of the outside mom, multiply by the derivative of the inside. The product rule, remember, is the derivative of the first, keep the second the same, plus the derivative of the second, keep the first the same. So the derivative of the first. Remember, that's the chain rule, so you do the outside first, so that's going to be 10 times the function, then subtract 1 from that, times the derivative of the inside, the baby, which is 3. Okay, you keep the second function the same because that's a product rule. Then you're going to add it to The derivative of the second, so we're going to take the derivative of that, but you're going to now use the chain rule, which is going to be 12 times that function, subtract 1 is 11, times the derivative of the inside, because that's the chain rule, 10x minus 1, and then times the function before it, which stays the same. I want to say it one more time, just in case you missed it, so pay attention. So again, the product rule says that you take the derivative of the first and you keep that function the same. So the derivative of the first, using the chain rule, is this, times the second one, which keeps the same, plus the derivative of the second one, which the chain rule says is this, times keeping the first function the same. The 10 right there multiplies that 3 to become 30, and then I'm just going to copy everything down. I'm going to put this in a different exponent order, so 10x minus 1 first, 3x minus 2 to the power of 10, and then that other last function to the power of 11. Now honestly, it depends what the question is. I'm not going to simplify this further because it just gets really complicated. It depends what they're looking for in the answer. On your test, they're not going to ask you really complicated ones. So let's take a look at another one. Let's see if you notice this one. So this is going to be the chain rule, but obviously because it's a rational function, it's the chain rule and the quotient rule in one. So it's the chain rule and the quotient rule in one. Now since I did the mom and the baby on that one, I'm going to do the u on this other. So I'm going to say let u be that whole thing. So u equals 5x to the 5th power minus 3 all over negative 3x cubed plus 1. Alright, now that I know what u is, I'm going to actually change the lingo here. I'm just going to say y equals. Okay, so that we can do my dy, du, and so forth. So I'm just going to change it to y, and that's okay to do y. Alright, so take the derivative of the outside, or take dy du, so go ahead and differentiate that. Dy du with respect to u is 3u squared. And then this is u, so I'm going to take the derivative of that with respect to x, so du dx. And I'm going to write it here, but I'm going to cancel it in just a second because I realize there's not going to be enough space. So this is the quotient rule. The quotient rule says high d low minus low d high all over low squared. Okay, so if you don't remember, turn a couple of pages back, and there it is. Hopefully you already remember that. Alright, so high d low, so the high one, just as it is, times the derivative of the low, which is negative 9x, minus low, so that, times the derivative of the high, so that's what, 25x, and notice I'm putting parentheses so I don't get my signs wrong, all over low squared. Write this out every single time so that you don't make a mistake. So I want dy dx, that's what I want, which is equal to dy du, and for it to cancel I have to also have du dx, so that those du's cancel, which gives me dy dx. So dy du is 3, and u is, now you're going to fill in what u is, so just write down the top just like it is, squared, times du dx, which is this whole thing. Alright, I'm just going to simplify this just a little bit. Let's distribute, so it's going to give me negative 45x to the 6th power plus 27x, and then let's see, let's minus parentheses, 25 times negative 3 is negative 75x to the 7th power plus 25x to the 4th power all over the bottom square. And I'm not really going to simplify that much, I'm just going to get rid of those parentheses there. So dy dx equals 3 times this whole thing squared. This is a listening check. Shading x to the 5th power. Alright, minus 47x to the 6th power plus 27x, and we're just going to get that negative in the house. Oh, sorry, distribute the negative. So it's going to be positive 75x squared minus 25x to the 4th power all over that. And again, so it depends what the question is asking. We can simplify this further, but it just gets really messy. Most of your AP questions would ask you to do so much. And that's pretty much it. So let's practice.